Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, known by his alias El Mencho, began his criminal career within the Milenio Cartel as a member of the personal security detail assigned to protect drug lord Armando Valencia Cornelio, El Maradona. When Mexican authorities arrested Valencia Cornelio on August 12, 2003, the cartel was left vulnerable. Seizing the opportunity, the rival Gulf Cartel and its paramilitary wing, Los Zetas, launched a violent offensive against the Milenio Cartel across the state of Michoacán. The assault forced the Valencia family to flee and re-establish themselves in the neighboring state of Jalisco, but El Mencho resettled in Guadalajara, the state capital, alongside his father-in-law José Luis González Valencia, El Quini, and associate Roman Caballero Valencia. Once in Jalisco, the remnants of the Milenio Cartel forged a strategic alliance with a powerful faction of the Sinaloa Cartel led by Ignacio Nacho Coronel, a senior drug lord and close ally of Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán. Under Coronel's umbrella, El Mencho and his associates managed the Sinaloa Cartel's drug trafficking operations, financial networks, and enforcement activities throughout the states of Colima and Jalisco. That a rapid succession of blows then destabilized the Milenio Cartel's command structure. On October 28, 2009, top leader Oscar Orlando Nava Valencia, El Lobo, was arrested. 26, his brother Juan Carlos, El Tigre, was detained on 6 May 2010. 27, 2 months later, their patron Nacho Coronel was killed during a confrontation with the Mexican army. With these three figures removed from the scene, the Milenio Cartel fractured, and El Mencho moved to seize control of its remnants. The power struggle quickly crystallized into two opposing camps. One faction sought to install El Pidio Mojaro Ramirez, El Pilo, who had been a close collaborator of the Nava Valencia brothers before their arrests. The other was championed by Eric Valencia Salazar, a member of the Valencia clan, who backed El Mencho for leadership. Tensions escalated when El Mencho demanded that the rival faction surrender Gerardo Mendoza, Tecado, or Cochi, whom he blamed for the murder of several of his subordinates in Tecaman, Colima. When the opposing side refused, open warfare erupted within the cartel. The Milenio Cartel formally split in two. El Mencho's faction adopted the name Los Mata Zetas, the Zeta Killers, while the opposition organized under the banner of La Resistencia, the Resistance. La Resistencia publicly accused Los Mata Zetas of having betrayed Oscar Orlando Nava Valencia to the authorities, further deepening the rift. The two groups waged a bloody turf war across Jalisco for control of lucrative drug smuggling corridors. To win public support and project legitimacy, El Mencho launched a calculated propaganda campaign. His group publicly denounced extortion and abuses carried out by rival gangs against ordinary citizens, businessmen, and government officials, framing Los Mata Zetas as protectors of the people. The strategy proved effective. Los Mata Zetas prevailed in the conflict, consolidated their dominance over western Mexico, and rebranded themselves as the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, Cartel de Jalisco Nueva Generación, or CJNG. As head of the CJNG, El Mencho transformed a small, fractured offshoot gang into one of Mexico's most powerful and feared criminal organizations. He achieved this through aggressive territorial expansion and the systematic corruption of government officials, establishing himself in the process as one of the country's most wanted fugitives. Several factors contributed to his notoriety. The CJNG cultivated a reputation for brazen, highly publicized acts of violence, and its willingness to launch direct attacks against Mexican security forces earned El Mencho a designation among authorities as a principal enemy of the state. Additionally, the successive arrests and deaths of other top Mexican crime bosses created a power vacuum that El Mencho was well positioned to fill. He fortified the CJNG's hold on Jalisco and surrounding states by repelling incursions from groups such as Los Zetas and the Knights Templar cartel. According to government intelligence, El Mencho personally oversaw all drug trafficking operations in Jalisco, Colima, and Guanajuato, where he built a formidable infrastructure for methamphetamine production and distribution. At its peak, the CJNG concentrated its operational strength across 8 Mexican states. It maintained firm control of drug trafficking in Jalisco, Colima, Guanajuato, Nayarit, and Veracruz, while actively contesting territory in Morelos, Guerrero, and Michoacán against rival organizations. Between 2014 and 2016, the only area where the CJNG experienced a contraction in its territorial footprint was Mexico City. Internationally, the cartel established criminal networks spanning the United States, Latin America, Europe, Asia, and Africa, with a primary focus on the trafficking of cocaine and methamphetamine. El Mencho's leadership made the CJNG one of Mexico's most lucrative criminal enterprises. Government estimates place the organization's total assets at approximately $50 billion. Much of this success was shared with El Mencho's brother-in-law, Abigail Gonzalez Valencia, who led an allied trafficking network known as Los Queenies. Abigail was arrested by the Mexican Navy on 28 February 2015. A key element of El Mencho's success was his ability to adapt to shifting market dynamics. The CJNG initially focused on methamphetamine production, but pivoted to heroin manufacturing when consumer demand in the United States shifted in that direction. In 2019, Kyle Morey, the head of the DEA team assigned to locate El Mencho, told Univision in an interview that he estimated El Mencho's personal net worth at no less than $500 million, with the possibility that it exceeded $1 billion. On August 25, 2012, a federal police unit based in Tonaya, Jalisco, responded to an anonymous tip about the presence of an organized crime cell in a nearby rural community. Upon arrival, a firefight erupted, resulting in the deaths of 6 CJNG gunmen. Initial reports claimed that El Mencho had been captured, but the Mexican government subsequently confirmed he was not in custody. Separate reports indicated that U.S. authorities had alerted their Mexican counterparts based on surveillance of El Mencho's girlfriend, who was allegedly importing methamphetamine through Gulfport, Mississippi. In a dramatic and highly coordinated response designed to prevent El Mencho's apprehension, the CJNG set at least 37 vehicles ablaze throughout the Guadalajara metropolitan area. The burning vehicles served as roadblocks on strategic routes, preventing police reinforcements from entering or leaving the city and buying El Mencho time to escape. After the chaos subsided, authorities confirmed that El Mencho had been in the area but had successfully evaded capture. On March 19, 2015, CJNG gunmen ambushed a federal police convoy in Ocatlan, Jalisco. 11 people were killed, 5 police officers, 3 civilians, and 3 CJNG operatives. The attack was reportedly a preemptive strike to protect El Mencho, who was believed to be attending a meeting nearby. 4 days later, on March 23, Heriberto Acevedo Cardenas, El Gringo, or El Güero, one of El Mencho's close associates, was killed in a shootout with federal police in Zacoalco de Torres, Jalisco. 3 other CJNG members also died in the engagement. Authorities identified Acevedo Cardenas as the commander of CJNG cells operating in Zacoalco, Tlajumulco, Cocula, Tapalpa, and Atemajac de Brizuela. El Mencho responded to the killing by ordering retaliatory strikes against the federal police. 46. On March 30th, CJNG gunmen in Zapopan ambushed a convoy transporting Alejandro Solario Archiga, Jalisco's security commissioner. No one was killed in the attack. On April 6th, CJNG operatives blocked a road in San Sebastián del Oeste with a burning vehicle and opened fire on a Jalisco State Police convoy, killing 15 officers and wounding 5 more. 48. 49. It was the deadliest single attack against Mexican law enforcement since 2010. 50. That same day, the police chief of Zacoalco de Torres, Miguel Ángel Caicedo Vargas, was assassinated by CJNG hitmen. On May 1, 2015, the Mexican government launched Operation Jalisco, a military-led initiative aimed at dismantling organized crime networks in Jalisco and apprehending their leaders. Intelligence reports indicated that El Mencho was in Tonaya, prompting an immediate offensive. As security forces advanced on his suspected location, intense fighting broke out between soldiers and CJNG gunmen. In the small town of Villa Purification, El Mencho's forces shot down a Mexican Army helicopter using a rocket-propelled grenade launcher, killing 9 soldiers. The battle spread across multiple municipalities. To slow the government's advance and facilitate El Mencho's escape, the CJNG erected roadblocks throughout the Guadalajara metropolitan area and set 39 buses, 11 banks, and 16 gas stations ablaze. The violence extended across 20 towns and into 3 neighboring states. Mexican authorities believed El Mencho remained hidden within the state of Jalisco, the CJNG's stronghold. Intelligence assessments indicated he never stayed in one location for long, constantly moving between municipalities in Jalisco and into the states of Michoacán, Colima, and Nayarit. He favored mountainous and rural terrain, which offered multiple escape routes in the event of encirclement by security forces. His security apparatus was reportedly organized in concentric layers. An inner circle of mercenaries with military training provided close personal protection, while a larger outer ring served as a rearguard, monitoring for suspicious activity and prepared to ambush anyone attempting to approach. 59. Unlike flamboyant drug lords such as El Chapo Guzman, El Mencho was believed to maintain a deliberately modest lifestyle to avoid attracting attention from law enforcement. The DEA's Los Angeles field office tracked El Mencho's activities over the course of many years, documenting the CJNG's steady expansion into international drug markets. 60. As early as 2000, U.S. investigators identified his involvement in international cocaine and methamphetamine trafficking. By 2005, they had evidence that he used firearms to facilitate these operations. 61. In 2007, the DEA uncovered El Mencho's participation in a cocaine pipeline running from Colombia through Guatemala and Mexico into the United States, along with a second Colombian to American cocaine route. In 2009, a third cocaine shipment originating from Ecuador was linked to him. 2 additional shipments from Mexico to the United States were detected in 2013. 61. In 2014, the DEA observed a significant shift in the CJNG's methods. El Mencho was found to have coordinated a methamphetamine shipment routed from Mexico to Australia and then to the United States, utilizing Chinese criminal networks as intermediaries. On September 27, 2011, Mexico's Office of the General Prosecutor, PGR, issued an arrest warrant for El Mencho and offered a reward of MXN $2 million for information leading to his capture. The charges included organized crime involvement and illegal possession of firearms. 64. 65. In March 2014, the United States District Court for the District of Columbia, drawing on years of DEA investigation, formally indicted El Mencho on multiple counts, including drug trafficking and leading a continuing criminal enterprise. The indictment alleged that El Mencho and his brother-in-law Abigail Gonzalez Valencia coordinated cocaine and methamphetamine shipments from South America through Mexico to the United States, and that the CJNG and Los Queenies managed the laundering and repatriation of drug proceeds. 66. 67th. Additionally, the United States District Court for the Western District of Texas sought his conviction on separate drug trafficking charges. 13. On December 18, 2017, 17-year-old YouTube personality Juan Luis Lagunas Rosales, known as El Pirata de Culiacán, the pirate from Culiacán, was shot and killed by 4 armed men in a bar in Jalisco. The murder occurred shortly after Lagunas Rosales had posted a video publicly insulting El Mencho. Authorities investigated whether El Mencho ordered the execution, though no charges were filed. 68. On August 15, 2018, the PGR increased its bounty on El Mencho to MXN $30 million. The announcement coincided with a new cooperative agreement between the DEA and Mexican authorities that emphasized targeting the financial infrastructure of criminal organizations and establishing a joint task force for international cases. 69. 70. The increased reward was prompted by a new arrest warrant charging El Mencho with masterminding the kidnapping and murder of 2 agents from the Criminal Investigation Agency, AIC, a division of the PGR, in February 2018, that on October 16, 2018, the U.S. Departments of State, Justice, and Treasury announced a coordinated enforcement action against the CJNG, doubling El Mencho's bounty from $5 million to $10 million. one of the largest increases in the history of the Narcotics Rewards Program. In December 2024, the bounty was raised again from $10 million to $15 million. On April 8, 2015, the U.S. Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, designated Mencho under the Foreign Narcotics Kingpin Designation Act for his role in international drug trafficking. The action, the result of a joint investigation by the Treasury and the DEA's Los Angeles office in coordination with Mexican authorities, also targeted the CJNG, Abigail Gonzalez Valencia, and Los Queenies. Under the designation, all U.S.-based assets belonging to or controlled on behalf of Mencho, Gonzalez Valencia, the CJNG, and Los Queenies were frozen, and U.S. citizens were prohibited from conducting any business with them. On September 17, 2015, OFAC sanctioned 5 businesses in Jalisco identified as financial conduits for the CJNG and Mencho. The sanctioned entities included a sushi restaurant with locations in Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara, a tequila company in Guadalajara, a cabin rental business in Tapalpa, and an advertising firm and agricultural company, both based in Guadalajara. All U.S.-based assets of these businesses were frozen, and U.S. citizens were barred from transacting with them. Investigators noted that the diversity of these front companies demonstrated the CJNG's deep penetration of the legitimate economy. On October 27, 2016, OFAC sanctioned 9 additional individuals for providing material and financial support to Mencho, Gonzalez Valencia, and their respective organizations. The action targeted members of Mencho's and Gonzalez Valencia's extended family and close business associates, with the stated objective of disrupting the cartel's inner circle and undermining its presence in Mexico's domestic economy. Those sanctioned included Mencho's brother Antonio, his son-in-law Julio Alberto Castillo Rodriguez, 5 of Gonzalez Valencia's siblings, Arnulfo, Edgar Eden, Elvis, Marissa Yvette, and Noemi, businessman Fabian Felipe Vera Lopez, and attorney Maria Teresa Quintana Navarro. As with previous designations, all U.S.-based assets were frozen and U.S. citizens were prohibited from engaging in any transactions with the named individuals.